The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Alada Aquano by Alada Aquano. Chapter 1. I believe it is difficult for those who publish their own memories to escape the imputation of their vanity. Nor is this the only disadvantage under which they labor. It is also their misfortune, that what is uncommon is rarely, if ever, believed, and what is obvious we are apt to turn from with disgust, and to charge the writer with impudence. People generally think those memories only worthy to be read or remembered which are abound in great and striking events. Those, in short, which in a high degree excite either admiration or pity, all of others they consign to contempt and oblivion. It is therefore, I confess, not a little hazardous, in a private and obscure individual, and a strange too, thus to solicitate the indulgent attention of the public, especially when I offer here the history of neither a saint, a hero, nor a tyrant. I believe there are few events in my life which have not happened to many. It is true, the incident of it are numerous, and I did consider myself a European. I might say my suffering were great, but when I compare my lot with that of most of my countrymen, I regard myself as practically favored of heaven. I acknowledge the mercies of Providence in every occurrence of my life. If then the following narrative does not appeal sufficiently interesting to engage general attention, let me motive by some excuse. For its publication, I am not so foolish vain to expect from it either immortality or literary reputation. If it affords any satisfaction to my numerous friends, at whose request it has been written, or in the smallest degree promotes the interest of humanity, the end of which it was undertaken will be fully attained, and every wish of my heart granted. Let it therefore be remembered that in wishing to avoid censure, I do not apprise to praise. The part of Africa known by the name of Guiana, to which the trade of slaves is carried on, extends along the coast about 3,400 miles, from Senegal to Angola, and includes a variety of kingdoms. Of these, the most considerable is the kingdom of Benin, both as to extent and wealth, the riches and cultivation of the soil, the power of its kings, and the number of warlike dispositions of the inhabitants. It is shaded nearly under the line, and extends along the coast about 170 miles, but it runs back into the interior part of Africa to a distance here art thou, I believe, unexplored by any traveler, and seems only terminated at length by the empire of Abyssinia. Near 1,500 miles from its beginning, this kingdom is divided into many provinces or districts, and one of the most remote and fertile of which I was born. In the year 1745, situated in the charming, fruitful valley named Esca. The distance of this province from the capital of Benin and the sea coast must be very considerable, for I have never heard of a white men or Europeans nor the sea. In our subjugation, the king of Benin was little more than a nomule, for every transaction of the government, as far as the slender observation extended, was conducted by the chief or elderly of this place. The manner of government of people who have little commerce with other countries, and generally very simple in history of what possesses in one family or village, may serve as a specimen of the whole nation. My father was one of those elderly or chiefs I have spoken of, and was styled in breech, a term, as I remember, importing the highest distinction and signifying in our language a mark of grandeur. This mark is conferred on the person entitled to it by cutting the skin across the top of the forehead and drawing it down to the eyebrows. And while it is in this situation, applying a warm hand and rubbing it until it shrinks up into a thick wheal across the lower part of the forehead. Most of the judges and censors were thus marked. My father, as long born, I had seen it conferred on one of my brothers, and I also was destined to receive by my parents. Those in branch or chief men decided disputes and punished crimes, for which purpose they always assembled together. The proceedings were generally short, and in most cases the law relation prevailed. We are almost a nation of dancers, musicians, and poets. Thus every great event, such as a triumphant return from battle, or of public rejoicing, and celebrated in public dances, which are accompanied with songs and music suited to the occasion. The assembly is separated into 4 divisions, which dance either part in succession, and each with a character prequel to itself. The first division contains the married men, who in their dances frequently exhibit feats of arms and the representation of a battle. To thus succeed the married women, who dance in second division. The young men occupy the third, and the maidens the fourth, each representing some interesting scene of life. Such a great achievement, domestic employment, a pathetic story, or some rural sport, as a subject in general founded on some recent events, it is therefore ever new. This gives our dance a spirit and variety. which I have scarcely seen elsewhere. The end of chapter 1.